My game is good, the algorithm just ignores me. Now, this developer got absolutely blasted on Twitter, X, for posting this. But here's the thing, his post got 40 million views. So was he wrong, or did he just crack the code? Recently, this trend has been blowing up on X, developers posting their games with some sort of variation of, my game is good, the algorithm just ignores me. But it raises a real question. What is the algorithm? And then how do game developers use that to go viral? And find out later if my indie game Castlemancer can make the cut. When game developers talk about the algorithm, they could mean literally any algorithm. YouTube's algorithm, TikTok's algorithm, Twitch's algorithm, Steam's algorithm. Just like how YouTubers, TikTokers, streamers can go viral overnight, so can games. And that's the dream, right? You make a game, it catches fire on social media, and suddenly you're an overnight success. And here's the crazy part, it's actually happening. Overnight may be an oversimplification, but definitely viral. Now let me show you some recent examples of indie games that absolutely exploded online. Megabonk, which was built by a solo developer, has over 27,000 Steam ratings and an estimated $13 million in revenue. Peak, which was made by a small indie team, has over 80,000 Steam reviews and an estimated $37 million in revenue. Balatro, of course, made by a solo developer, over 90,000 Steam reviews and an estimated $80 million in revenue. R.E.P.O, again a small developer, over 94,000 reviews and $55 million in estimated revenue. Now, obviously, this is not like a common occurrence, it's actually quite rare, and these are just a few cases that actually help prove that you can become viral if you have a good indie game. So clearly the algorithm can work in the favor of indie game developers, but the real question is, why these games? Okay, so what do all these viral games have in common? First thing that kind of jumps out to me is that they're all extremely fun to watch, which obviously helps them get popular with YouTubers and streamers. Designing a game to be fun to play is one thing, but designing a game to be fun to watch, that's a whole different challenge. And that's kind of where this algorithm magic happens. Now let's break it down by genre. Both Balatro and Megabonk are roguelikes, which have been getting insanely popular recently. Why? Because they allow tons of different types of playthroughs. Every run is different, every synergy is unique, which means endless content for creators. Now, if you can create tons of different synergies and builds, there will be tons of different content about your game, which feeds the social media algorithm, which feeds the Steam algorithm. You know, it's a cycle. Now let's look at Peak and R.E.P.O. Both are co-op games specifically designed around funny moments. A single funny co-op clip from one of these games can go mega viral. And once that clip hits 1 million views on TikTok or YouTube Shorts, suddenly everyone wants to play the game with their friends. And the benefit and curse of co-op games is that it requires other people to buy it in order to really fully enjoy the experience. So if all of your friends buy it, you probably will too. Definitely a double-edged sword, but if your game's doing well, then that can definitely help. Again, social media algorithm feeds the Steam algorithm. Cycle continues. Now, obviously, there are a lot of unknowns when it comes to the recommendation algorithms of these different platforms. Nobody knows exactly how they work, and even if you do everything right, there still seems to be an element of luck and just general timing. But it's always fascinating to see what hits with the broader gaming audience and what doesn't. Some games follow all the rules and go nowhere, and then some break all the rules and get mega viral. I think that's just the nature of the beast. But I have one last question for you. Is my game good, but the algorithm just ignores me? Now, let me make the case for my indie game Castlemancer. Okay, so it's a roguelike deck builder. Okay, nothing new, right? That's been done before. But my twist on it is making the literal cards actually a mechanic instead of purely a mode of information. Now, that's a very vague way of saying, instead of usual deck builders where you just drag a card to a board, in Castlemancer, you drag cards into the actual game world and see their effects there. I always loved deck builders, but what bothered me is that a lot of them still rely on playing cards in the way you would play a physical card game. And they use those constraints to build their game around. And this is totally fine. Like, I literally love Slay the Spire and Hearthstone. They are incredibly fun. But I always wanted a game where the cards felt more like game objects rather than just a user interface. So that's ultimately the key selling point I wanted to get across with Castlemancer. You drag cards from your hand actually into the world, and where and how you place them actually matters. If you want to play a fire spell on an enemy tent to burn it down instead of at the enemy, you know, go ahead. If you want to quickly flick your card to try to get it to land diagonally, you can. If you want to summon a pig, you can. There's no grids or weird placement rules or predetermined drop locations. No, you're defending the castle, so you have to use your magical deck of spells in any creative way you can. And don't worry, you're not alone out there. There's a whole wacky cast of characters, unique builds, and situations that will make each run feel unique. So let me know in the comments if that's something that interests you. And you can also find the wishlist link for Castlemancer on Steam in the description below, or if you just go to castlemancer.com. Is it gonna go viral and make me $80 million? I mean, that would be awesome. Probably not, but is it fun? I think so. And hey, if it does blow up, you can say you were there before it got popular. So if you enjoy game development, devlogs, or if you just like seeing someone slowly descend into madness while trying to build a game, then you should stick around and subscribe. We do a bad British accent at the end of every video. That's all from me, and hopefully I see you in another one. Bye-bye.